Hello, everybody, and happy Monday. I'm actually quite disappointed in myself at how many Monday musings that I miss, but then I give myself a pass because life is what it is, and sometimes when you're adulting, some things get put on the back burner and they just have to be picked up at another time. Nonetheless, today I have to get on here and talk about human interaction. And I'm going to take my time with this one because this is quite diverse and it could be a touchy subject. And we all find ourselves in one of these categories. So one category of human interaction is when you're on a professional level and you're having to deal with people in a very professional manner. Everyone isn't going to be happy because you're going to have some who feel like you should always be personal. You should always be, hey girl, what's up? Hey dude, fist bump. And when you put on that professional hat and have to call shots or regulate, as we would say, or follow policies and rules, you're going to have people who are not happy with you. But you're going to have to find yourself comfortable in your own skin to say, we can be kikiing another time, but today it's a professional hat, and not take a ding because someone has decided that they're going to be hating on you or mad at you because you're just so cold. And it's not cold. It's that there are professional things that have to be handled. So that is one level of human interaction that, yes, we meter it and we figure out how we can still be friendly and loving and kind. But at the same time, we have to maintain that professionalism to get work done, to get business done. Then there's that level of human interaction where it is personable. It is a one-on-one. And you're trying to figure out, how do I cope with certain people who have certain personalities that don't agree with mine? What do I do? How do I manage that? One of the lessons I've tried to learn or try to latch on to is trying to understand that everyone has a different point of view and everyone's coming from a totally different level of experience. And with that being said, it does pay. You have to listen a lot. Stop, listen to their heart. This way, you're not going to jump to a conclusion before the person got out their mouth everything they want to say. As you learn when you take certain courses, you listen not to respond, but listen to understand. And when that happens, you can find that you have a few less clashes and bumps because you're trying to say, hey, you know what? I've listened to the heart of that person, and what I thought they were trying to say, that's not what they were saying. So now I can formulate a response that will reduce any type of potential, any type of potential clash, because sometimes a clash is going to happen and you cannot avoid that. It's going to happen. But sometimes we can minimize that potential. Then there's another human interaction when you're on more of a, I'm going to call it, charitable point of interaction. This can happen when you're volunteering, when you're working with volunteers, when you are working with family who's given their time, you're working with friends who's given their time. Anything where there is no dollar amount involved, but there also is no personal relationship, as in that's not family on that level. So, hey, you had a big event and you need someone to come help you out. You grab one of your close friends. Okay, that's on a charitable level. And so that person's going to want you to be a certain way because they know you from this aspect. When you're in those situations, that can become even more interesting because you're literally having to balance the line between both of these worlds at the same time, because you're having to be familiar but not known, but still known by those who know you. And you're going to get flack from both sides, because you're going to have the side that knows you and they're trying to figure out why you tripping, and the side that don't know you trying to figure out why is she trying to be a certain way, and why is he trying to be a certain way with those people. And I'm actually sharing this video because I have to interact with people on every level that I've just mentioned, plus some. I'm having to interact with people who are renters, who they see their situation in life as, this is your problem, not mine. I pay you my rent. And I'm having to interact with people on a level where they're coming to a location to be healed, to feel comforted, and they already have their mindset on what they want from you and what they want from that visit. Okay, I'm having to deal with people who are strictly business, and sometimes they may want to cross that line and not be very professional, and they want you to give them a pass on certain things. And I'm finding that as I'm dancing back and forth between all these different categories, you really are having to be a fulfillment of what the scripture says, all things to all people. And it can be a challenge. So I'm encouraging anyone who finds themselves in those situations, remember these few little tips. One, step back and say, hey, where is the heart of that person coming from? What is their perspective? What is their background, their experience? Because it can be something so different that I cannot jump to a conclusion. I cannot be ready to respond, but I got to be ready to listen in order to understand. If you're having to deal with that professional environment where I got to do what I got to do, but let me figure out how not to beat you down in the process. And I'll admit, that's one of the ones I'm still working on. I really am. And then the one where you're dancing between both worlds at the exact same time, and how I can make sure, as Bishop Vanessa Usry once told us, and she often would tell us this, you got to come up with ways to deal with the person, but preserve the soul. Because there's different ways you can correct people and admonish people, but you got to preserve that soul at all times. Because when a soul gets hurt, that part is really hard to get back. It's super hard to get back. So you really have to stay prayerful and mindful on how can I be all things to all people, preserve that soul, and preserve my insanity. Because in the middle of all that, you got to preserve your own sanity so you can continue to be all that you need to be for the world who needs you. So I hope this has helped. I'm hoping that there's someone out here who can be blessed by this. These are things I've learned. I'm continuing to learn. And if you have something to share that can help me even improve, I receive it. I am the person that, please call me, contact me. Like I put on my post one day, don't ask my neighbor, talk to me. Because a lot of misunderstandings can be cleared up with a one-on-one conversation to hear the heart. All right, that's my Monday musing for today. I wish you all the best, and we'll see if I can stay on track with this. No promises, because adulting is adulting. Have a great day, everybody, and thanks for joining me. Bye.